It's been quite a ride the last few years. Haven't really stuck with a lot of stuff in my life. Forgetting stuff easier and easier. Doing things that I shouldn't be doing in place for things that I just wanted to do, but just didn't make a lot of sense to do anything in particular. Everything, life is weird, man. To put it bluntly, life is very weird, and it has been a very very weird time the last few years, to say the very least. And I want to start off not with a hello and not with a with the anything in particular, just a welcome back. You know, if you're listening to this, you've probably listened to some of my stuff before, and if that is the case, thank you for coming back and giving me another shot as you want to try out something a little different from the norm that you might be used to listen to me talk. I'm going to be rusty. My current job does not have me on a microphone a lot anymore, so I'm not going to be peak where I was at one point when it comes to doing podcasts and anything, but I'm here and I'm going to give it the best of shot as possible. And I just want to say thank you for being patient with me. And I will continue to get better and better and continue to get better and better day by day as this show progresses. So without further ado, let us continue on and start this brand new journey outside of anything that I've done before with anybody, where I am completely and utterly on my own. Of all the weeks to start a brand new show, I picked a really good week. Welcome to the first episode of On My Own, the OMO podcast. Thank you so much for joining me here. If you don't know who I am Keith. I have hosted many of podcasts before, smaller ones that usually have been ones I've started and I've done. My most successful is obviously Save the Planet. If you are joining me back from that, thank you. On My Own is going to particularly be the one thing that I particularly love the most, that I play on my own a lot, and that's video games. This is another video game podcast for you to either listen to for 5 seconds, get the gist of where I'm going to go with it, and then just move on with the rest of your day. Or it's going to be something that you and I both get into just as much as I love getting into sitting down and wasting 4 to 8 hours of my day getting into the world that I cannot imagine because it's just out of realm possibility of me imagining it. Video games are great. Video games can take you to places and make you do things that you would have never expected you'd be able to do in your life. And I love them. But listen, there's so much stuff going on this week. There's so much stuff going on recently that I can talk about what this podcast is going to be later on in the show, because I want to get straight into some news. Because literally the day before I decided, hey, let's start podcasts. Let's do a podcast again, at least something. Because while we're still waiting for Save the Planet podcast to return, I got to get something going. I got to get my voice back to how it used to be. I got to get my my endurance back, you know? I gotta be able to do longer shows, so let's get started with something here. And the first thing I want to get started with is this news of, once again, the Xbox having price hikes. I mean, Xbox having price hikes is getting to the point of being like, well, I guess the sky is blue. It's like an obvious thing that's just going to happen anymore. Microsoft continues to raise these prices on everything, and it just comes at a very crazy time, just in general. So yesterday they said that they were going to release, or they were going to raise the price this time on Game Pass. Now, we're going to go into this in detail through the IGN article. I just want to say, before I went into this and really looked at it, just the sounding, just people saying in the article, price that's titled Game Price or Game Pass Ultimate Price rises to $30 a month. I was about to scream. I was like, are you kidding me? What are they doing? Why do they keep doing this? This is so egregious to me. Because they keep on raising everything. Some stuff that just doesn't make sense. Or some stuff, again, now I will say the first price hikes make sense for everything that's going on. It sucked. It was a huge loss for us, the consumer, just to be able to afford it. But if you want an Xbox, it makes sense, especially with stuff going on. That's just the way things are going to have to be. Prices are just going to have to go up. But then it happened again. And now this, without context, I was about to lose my mind. Game Pass Ultimate jumps up 50% in the United States. I think in the UK it's like 53%. Could be wrong about that. Microsoft raised the price of Ultimate originally back last year in July from $16.99 a month to $19.99 a month. And that led to other increases by other markets. And this is all going on the IGN article. You know, $16.99 was more than what it was originally, because I think originally, whenever Game Pass switched to the version it had been for a while, wasn't it only like $14.99 or something? From what I remember. And as many games as they were providing, and as many as the service itself was, in terms of like you needed it to play online, you got deals from it and stuff. Going from $17 to $20 honestly didn't seem that bad at first. It didn't seem that bad. So out of context, when you hear this is going from $19.99 to $29.99 a month, 14 months after they just raised the price, and not even weeks or months after they just raised the price of the systems or whatnot, you'd want to be mad. Of course you'd want to be mad. Everything's going up, and the last thing you want to hear is something that you regularly play continue to go up too. But there is more context to that. I think this world, if I've learned anything the last few years, is context is everything. Because yeah, the price is going up for Ultimate. It's going to be $30 a month. And like I said, it increased to 50% in the US and 33.33% in the UK. Which here is an extra $120 per year. But they're adding stuff. This isn't just, oh, it's just going to be the same old program before. It's just going to be, instead of $20, it's going to be 40. No. Or I'm sorry, $20 is going to be 30. Excuse me. No, they're actually doing it a few different ways. There are now 3 tiers of Game Pass plans, including Essential, Premium, and Ultimate. Each has their own type of game library. Essential has 50 games playable on PC, console, and the cloud. Premium has 200 games, and Ultimate has 400 games. I'm going to pause right here for a second because this sounds very familiar. Having 3 tiers of a console thing, the console online thing. I'll talk about that here in a little bit. But some of the stuff they are adding to Ultimate's actually pretty interesting. So I don't know exactly what Fortnite Crew is. I know it's Fortnite, don't get me wrong. I don't know what that is in particular. But Fortnite Crew is going to be available through Ultimate. And they are also adding the Ubisoft Plus catalog. The classics, anyways. That has been available on PlayStation Plus for quite a while now, since they upgraded their subscription service. So that's kind of neat. They are adding stuff. Now, apparently with the Fortnite thing, you get access to the Battle Pass starting November 18th. 1,000 V-Bucks each month. That's pretty interesting. And then the classics, you get all the games like Assassin's Creed. You get the Crew. You get Watch Dogs. The Tom Clancy games. Here's everything. Official picture by Xbox of what you get. 400 plus games, all on PC, console, and the cloud. 75 plus day one games a year, including all Xbox published games day one. I mean, that'd be cool if Xbox games were actually worth a damn, but that's neither here nor there, I suppose. EA Play is included. That's cool. Ubisoft Classics are included. That's cool. Fortnite Crew, also included, coming in November. Unlimited cloud gaming at our best quality with the shortest wait times, online console multiplayer, in-game benefits, and play and earn up to 100,000 points a year in the store with rewards. Premium has been upgraded to include over 200 games, also for both Xbox, PC, and the cloud, which features all the Xbox published games except for Call of Duty. Weird. I mean, not really. They really want to get people to get the Ultimate, get Call of Duty for free. Yeah, but everything else that seems Xbox exclusive. Now, it doesn't say for Premium, I don't think. The 75 plus day one games a year. Or it says unlimited cloud gaming with shorter wait times, not the best, but shorter. In-game benefits, new Xbox published games within a year, and up to $50,000 or 50,000 points a year in the store. And then Essential is 50 games, in-game benefits, very limited. And you don't get the Xbox published games within a year's time there. Well, price. Here's the thing. Here's the good thing for you guys. The prices are basically the same minus the Ultimate, which is going up. Ultimate is going up, but the other two are just kind of the same. But to be fair, I think you have to forgive me. I'm not the biggest Xbox aficionado, okay? I am learning as much as you guys are if you're first listening to this. But I believe how it was just before was Core and then there was Ultimate. So Essential is replacing Core, and that's going to be your $10 a month service. You can have online, you get the 50 games. That's it. That's Essential. Premium seems to be the old Ultimate, if I'm correct. And that's 200 plus games. The Xbox year one releases, excluding Call of Duty, $15 a month. And then Ultimate just seems like it's getting more, doesn't it? Am I wrong here? Seems like it's getting more with Ubisoft and the Fortnite Club thing, Fortnite Crew, whatever. But it is going up $10. PC Game Pass really is the one that seems to get a little bit more screwed. PC Game Pass is going up almost $5 to $16.49, up from $11.99. If I was anybody, I'd be the most upset about the PC Game Pass going up. That one seems to be the most low blow. But I understand Game Pass going up. Never what it was to what it is now. It is going up $10. $30 a month may not be as justifiable to some people as $20. But when I see everything that's included now, and 400 plus games, of course they're interchangeable. There will be different ones here and there and everywhere. But you'll get the Ubisoft Classics, you'll get EA Play, you'll get all this stuff Xbox has under their belt. So Microsoft owns Bethesda, they own Activision. So you'll get the Call of Duties, you'll get the Skyrims, the Elder Scrolls, you'll get Fallout. It honestly doesn't sound bad. I mean, it sucks, yeah, and talk about a time where you just don't want prices to go up, but after seeing everything, I don't hate it. I don't like that it's going up, but I thought it was going to be a lot worse, because they could have not added anything. Now, I have a bigger problem just in general anymore. I'm personally, myself, I'm getting sick and tired of just not owning my stuff. I think game companies now are really, like, this is obvious that they just don't want you to own the game, your games. They want you to use Game Pass. They want you to pay $30 a month, and you can get all this stuff. You can just play whatever you want, whenever you want. Which is fine, of course, if you don't... I think services like this are fine if you don't play games normally on a daily basis and just don't want to own video games. Like, if you're casual and want to play some games here and there, you have an Xbox, have a PC, $30 a month to play Ultimate. You get about it for a month, and you can play anything you want for a little bit. I don't see the huge issue in terms of that. So people like me and people that want to have collections and stuff, that I just don't like this. I don't like that, but I'm getting tired of it, I think, more than anything. I just don't, I like it for the conveniency, but I don't like it because it's not mine. But that's, again, I'm getting sidetracked from the thing about this. The thing about this is just the price increase of Ultimate. This price increase, which, again, I will say, by itself, isn't as terrible as it could have been. It's still a price increase, don't get me wrong. And the PC one's pretty bad. But the price increase, just in general, it does not help that they're doing this. After very recently prices just came out for the new ROG Xbox Ally, and prices for the actual hardware rose again. So let's talk about that for a second. Also, I have the sniffles, and you'll hear here and there, you'll hear a little sniffy sniff. So I apologize for that. It may break some quality, and I understand that. If you can bear with me, as with my sniffles, then we're gonna continue on talking about this. So they want to raise the price of Game Pass to $30 for Ultimates. Okay, I can just do $10 for Core. I get $50, or I get 50 games in there. Don't get access to Call of Duty and stuff, but I can still like play online. I still have 50 games to choose from. Oh well, Core is all I need. Oh, I want to buy a console. Good freaking luck. The most affordable console, and I do want to say quote unquote affordable, the Xbox Series S, the 512 gigabyte edition. I have the 1 terabyte, so this is actually half the one that I have. Just a side note there. This one was always supposed to be the most affordable one. It's like, oh, I have about $250 to spend, I can get an Xbox, that's cool. And the hardware is serviceable. It's not as much as the Series X is, obviously, and it doesn't have a disk drive, but it's a serviceable Xbox. There's nothing wrong with the Series S. Until the price. $400 it is now to get a Series S. The unfortunate part is, that's the cheapest console out there now. $400 does not sound cheap to me. It is still the best price that you're going to choose in terms of buying a new console. For $50 more, you can just buy a PlayStation 5 digital version. And I can tell you for sure now, the PS5 digital, way more powerful than the Series S. Of course, both systems can run different things their own different way, but just in terms of the innards, that's a PS5 right there. There are some things in the Series S that the Series X cannot have. It's not powerful enough. The PS5 digital, same stuff as what's in a normal PS5. The only thing it's not compared to is the PS5 Pro, which we will talk about in just a second. But if you want an affordable console, the most affordable console you can get is the Series S, 512 gigabytes for $400. Which, that is a price hike from what it used to be just a couple months ago. Because they raised it originally to $379.99. And here, very recently, they rose it $20. And we're not done with those recent price hikes either. Let's move on to the next one. Maybe you want a better one, but you want to stay. Maybe you want a better Xbox, but you want to stay in the Xbox family, okay? The Series X. They have other editions of the Series S that has more space in there. They even have an Xbox Series X that's all digital. But say you want a disc. Say you want a disc drive with it. Okay, cool. $649. $649. To mention the other two that I just brought up, the Series S 1 terabyte is now $450, and the Series X digital is now $599. Which, by the way, was the original price for the regular Series X before they raised the price $50 here a couple weeks ago. What? But if you want the cream of the crop Xbox, the premier Xbox X console, you want the Series X 2 terabyte Galaxy Black Special Edition. Well, you're going to be spending $799 for that bad boy. A few weeks ago, maybe a few months, maybe a couple months ago at this point, time is weird, it feels like this year. Regardless, $729.99. It raised $70. You are kidding me. You are absolutely kidding me. Then they released the price of the Rogue Ally, the new Rogue Xbox Ally. The regular one is $600. $600. Do you want to know how much the X is? The more powerful of the ones? More powerful Xbox on the go? $999.99. No tax included. $1,000. What? Not to mention that some first-party games that Xbox has already said, some are going to be starting at $80 now. Everyone's pulling a Super Mario, oh shoot. Super Mario Kart World, I think is what it was. My apologies. Super Mario Kart World. $80 for new games. $70 was egregious whenever they said they had to jump them up $10 from what the price has been for the past 2 console generations. People understood games are getting bigger, consoles are getting more powerful, whatnot. So I think everyone collectively went, fine. I went, fine, I'll wait for a sale. Unless I really want it. Gone are the days of being, $60. Yeah, I'll just save up $60. Now I gotta think a little more. Yeah, it's only $70. It's only $10 more. But $10 adds up. Especially when you're an adult with bills and things to do that you want to do. And you just don't want to play video games. If you're a kid and you don't understand the value of a dollar yet, just understand that it's a lot. Just try to wrap your head around that. That's a lot of money. Not to mention you have so many games wanting to nickel and dime your parents out of everything, of any kind of money that you might get. And yeah, you can play your free games like Fortnite or whatnot, but they're still going to try to get even more money. It's not Xbox, the console that you might want. You're going to automatically set your parents up. If your parents are awesome, at least set them back, not up. Set them back $400. And then you can play Fortnite free, but then you're gonna be wanting some skin packs and whatever in the world they want to sell on Fortnite. Emotes, characters. God knows how much you're going to be spending after that. So just imagine if you want a game that actually costs money. Brand new game, $80, please. New Elder Scrolls? $80 probably. Call of Duty after this year? $80. I can't wait for Grand Theft Auto to come out. It's going to be $100 standard. I know it's going to be that way. No one's saying it. Well, a lot of people are saying it, but no one selling the game will say it. They don't want to say it. They don't want to tell you how much they're going to make that game go on for. Everyone knows. Everyone has that feeling. If they sell it for $70, that will kind of feel cheap, honestly, because you know they're going to want to sell it for $100 for the standard edition. You know it. This just comes as just a very rough time for people right now. The tariffs in general are just hurting everybody bad. Everything is just going up. It could be inflation too. Let's not all blame this on tariffs now. There's a mix of several things. And you just add on more and more price hikes or whatever, and it just feels awful. And Xbox has the gall, after doing all those price hikes, after doing a second batch of price hikes, after releasing the prices for the ROG Xbox Ally as high as they are, to do this with Game Pass? To introduce a system that sounds vaguely familiar? That sounds like it's copying someone else? I mentioned it earlier, it sounded familiar, like I just said. Because this model is basically PlayStation Plus. PlayStation Plus is doing the same thing. They've been doing it since they reintroduced their version of Game Pass. Their version of Game Pass is the exact response to how Game Pass was. The reason why they changed their stuff out is because Xbox was doing so well with it. And now you're changing your thing to look more like PlayStation's? $360 some a month. I end up being a shill for PlayStation. I probably won't do it this year because this year I just haven't played a lot of games, admittedly. I've been busy, been doing a lot of stuff. But I'm pretty sure that a year of PlayStation Plus Premium is like $170 for a year. Now, granted, some of the high-profile games that are being advertised on the Xbox Game Pass server or system there are impressive. So yeah, it's going to cost a little more. But that's still like half the price for their premium service. And you still get amazing games. Like they add on and take off games a lot. But you still have some of the basic ones. Like they have the Ubisoft catalog. They have the Classics catalog. They have their amazing games like The Last of Us, Uncharted. They have classic PlayStation games they're bringing back from the PS1 and PS2 and the PSP. Japanese titles. I mean, it really is, if you want to play games that are like Call of Duty, Bethesda games, different kind of Activision games like Crash Bandicoot, Tony Hawk, and different Xbox original titles like Grounded and Forza and Halo. Would you rather play that, or would you rather play games like The Last of Us and God of War and Puyo Puyo or something? Not Puyo Puyo, I was thinking of Papatoon, I think. I think it was a little, I can't remember the characters. Papatoon? I think that's what it's called. But basically it really still is PlayStation against Xbox. It's just they're not the games anymore. Because you can get Xbox games on PlayStation and PlayStation games on Xbox now. They've just switched over their competition. They're competing in the streamer subscription things. Another video game crash is coming. It has to be. It has to be. Do I want it to happen? No, but like, we've lost the plot somewhere. I feel like we lost the plot. I feel like Dave lost the plot. But you know who hasn't lost the plot? You know who's gained the plot back? Me! I found the plot. I found the plot, picked it up, and started realizing, oh man, everything's all screwed up. Let's get the plot back on track. And 30 minutes talking about that. Wow. It's crazy. And I never really introduced this show. Like I said at the beginning, this is on my own. This is the OMO podcast. Blah, blah, blah. But like, why did I decide to do my own video game podcast outside of other projects, outside of Save the Planet? Even bringing this back before I brought back Save the Planet for like the umpteenth time. Why is J-Bomb not behind me, talking, giggling, doing all kinds of stuff J-Bomb does? Why is he not here with me? Why am I on my own? Because I love video games, man. I mean, J-Bomb does too, but like, over anything else in my life, video games have been like, it. You know, I was born in '93. I grew up on the N64 and the original PlayStation. My mom got me the N64, and my dad had the PlayStation. And I love the N64, but I generally somehow really just felt like the PlayStation was more special. When I got the PS2, that just converted me over 100%. I became a PlayStation fanboy from the day. Now, I grew up and realized how bad of a fanboy I was, to the point where during the PS3 era, I wanted nothing to do with 360 and missed out big time on a great console. I think kids just do that. They grow up making dumb decisions that are just very close-minded. Heck, adults do that all the time too. I'm still close-minded on some things too I'm trying to open up on, especially gaming-wise. Which is why I'm more open to games being on other systems, even though I kind of controversially wish that more games would stay on their own respected systems, just because I see it more as a way of creating competition between one another. I understand that's probably not how things are now anymore. And you have to have the games on PC, or else, PC players be PC players. So I understand, like, that's probably not how the way things go anymore when it comes to video games. You want them on all the systems, but to me, it's like competition, man. I want that competition. I want Astrobot to take on Mario, and then take on whatever Xbox could think of in their platformers. I wanted Halo to take on Killzone. I wanted Legend of Zelda to take on games like Uncharted and the Xbox equivalent. I want that because I want games like it to see who could do it better, who could do more, and just have these different games that are different experiences. Because I will buy your system, or I will play your game somehow, some way, if I know they're good. But if they're not good, and you're just like putting out slop after slop, what's the point? And if you don't feel like you really have any reason to compete, then what are we doing? Why do I want to waste my time spending $80 now to buy a game? No, it's okay. I can just get Game Pass for $30 and play. It's fine now. It's fine. That's where we are. Don't want to own the games anymore. We'll play whenever we want, and then after a month, we'll just, I guess, hiddle away, go away. Give you an idea of some of the games that I like, that really stick out to me. I'm going to give you my top 5 games of all time. 5 games that have really stood out to me for one reason or another. Games that define me. Games that have defined generations. in one way or another. I'm going to start from my 5th up to my 1st. And honestly, I think 4 and 5 can interchange sometimes. In fact, 4 to maybe like 15 could be completely different next month. My top 3 are pretty stagnant, are there, but these first 2 can mix match here and there at times. So, first one I want to mention, my number 5 top game, it's Assassin's Creed 2. God, you talk about... So, Assassin's Creed came out, and the first thing I remember is walking up in Jerusalem, seeing that gold dome, and I was having questions about, what I believed in and what my faith was and all that stuff. But regardless of what it is now, just seeing in a video game that setting, walking into a place as holy as Jerusalem in some form or fashion, I was breathtaking. I thought, man, graphics can't get any better than this. Boy, howdy, if 2007 me would have saw what that same series would have done in about 10 years' time, looking at you, Valhalla, Odyssey, his mind would have exploded. But I was so shocked and so in awe of that game, of how it looked just in general. And I like playing it too, don't get me wrong, but there was a way better reception to how it looked to me than how the first one played. But the second one came out, and every complaint, everything I thought was wrong with the first one just almost completely went away. Some of the stuff that was brought in from the first one was tweaked and made better in the second. Everything about the second one, from the setting to the graphics to the story, everything was fixed up and wrapped in a nice bow of, by George, the world's going to end in 2012, we got to do something about it. But we didn't really know about that part yet. It was coming. But man, everything about... And then you had such a great main character as Ezio Auditore de Firenze. Assassin's Creed 2 is just so good. And you could argue that Brotherhood's even better. Heck, the ending of Brotherhood is way better than any of the endings in any of the prior Assassin's Creed games or since. Assassin's Creed 2 I like more just because it doesn't stick with one particular area. As much as I loved Rome and Brotherhood, it was really cool. I like going to different places. I like going to Florence. I like going to Venice. The short time you were in the Vatican in Assassin's Creed 2 was really cool. I got to go to the Vatican in Rome. After exploring these old cities of Venice and Florence, it was just really cool. It was really cool. I love that game. Next game is basically the one that started it all in terms of 3D platformers. I wouldn't be a fan of 3D platformers like Astrobot and anyone since if it wasn't for Super Mario 64. Every Super Mario 3D platformer that's came out, I've loved ever since. Loved Sunshine, even though I've never 100% completed it. Loved Galaxy 2. The only one I really haven't played is the one with Bowser's Fury. I think that's World 3D World. I get that one and the handheld mixed up. I played the handheld. I get that and the handheld mixed up, but I've loved everyone I played. I just don't think any of them has hit me as hard and as good as 64 did. The first one. And yeah, it's got a lot of problems. The camera, admittedly, like everyone says, it's not great. Not at all. I mean, this game came out in 1996. It was the first one to really do this. To really figure out, hey, I can move in several different directions. It was the first one to do it. You had to start somewhere, and I think they hit it so well off the first time that everything else was just like an expansion onto that great game. And it's just the one I hold over anybody else or over any of the other games. Forza Horizon 4 is my number 3. I will keep this short and sweet to not get too personal. There's a reason why Forza Horizon 4 in particular is here. I do not want to talk about it. I may talk about it on a future date, but it's very personal to me. Are there other Forza Horizon games that might be better? 3 might be better. 2 might be better. 4 is my favorite. And it is 3 because I cannot put it any higher than 3, and it doesn't deserve to be any lower than 3. So I'm just going to move on. Me number 2 is Minecraft, and that was number 1 for a long time. I mean, what do I say about Minecraft that millions of other people on the internet have not said about Minecraft? I mean, I feel like I can move on to my number 1 just because number 2's been talked about to death. Still talked about to this day. This game came out almost 15 years ago. And it's still arguably just as big as when it was when it first came out. Well, that's a little bit of a lie. It's not as big when it first came out, but it's still huge. Kids love Minecraft, man. I love Minecraft. There's something so special about being able to just play a game that you can build in a world that's bigger than Earth itself. And you can build anything you want in that world. The biggest sandbox ever. I love Minecraft, and so do you. Even if you say you don't, fool, you do. My number 1 may be controversial, but I think everyone's top 5 is controversial to somebody. This game does not play well. It is very dated. The other 4 games play a lot better than this one. But I don't know a game that has left such an impact on me after playing it. And the story is good and as crazy as it is. I don't want to give it away just yet. I want to build it up a little bit. It is not a game for the weak at heart. It is a game you have to be in the right mindset to play in. It's not the new one. I'm talking about the OG. Silent Hill 2 is my favorite game of all time. Maybe it speaks to me in ways that maybe I needed at the time. But it also came before bad things really started going down. But it also is the spark of something very special for me. Such a depressing and sad and scary and horrifying game. Just means so much. The fact the remake got even close to being as good as the original did makes me so incredibly happy they didn't crap on the legacy that is Silent Hill. And the legacy that is Silent Hill 2 in particular. To the point where I'm excited and ecstatic to see what Bloober Team does with the original. I don't know what they're going to do with that one. You talk about dated. Silent Hill 2 at least was on the PS2. Update some graphics on there. PS1, I'm very interested. Much more interested, actually. See how this one is. Because Silent Hill 2 is kind of obvious. It's weird that they're going from starting the remakes of Silent Hill 2 and then going back to 1. I mean, that's a little odd. Whatever. They've proved that they can do it. And I want to see them do it again. But what they were able to do with 2, I'm very happy with. But there's still something about the original, man, that it hits different. It hits me way different than the remake does, and I love it for it. And there's no way I could put any game above it. Minecraft was very close, but that's for completely different reasons. Silent Hill 2 just really, really stuck with me, man. Really stuck with me. We'll go ahead and start wrapping things up on this first episode of OMO. Not a bad first episode already, I don't think. I think we're off for a pretty decent start. Looking forward to good things to come. And speaking of good things to come, I'm very much looking forward to the remainder of this year. Got some great games still on the horizon. Even still, I know we just started October, but we still have a lot of games coming out. I mean, look at the games that have already came out this year. Expedition 33, Hades 2, Borderlands 4, Silent Hill F. Great games already. Been such a good year. I feel like I'm contradicting myself when I say, why would we want to play slop? Well, there's not slop. You just have to find games that aren't slop. And don't give the money to the people that make slop. Or just give it to the people that are put slop mixed with great gems on the same thing. Own your own stuff. That's just my opinion. If you don't want to, that's fine. I can't tell you what to do with your own money, but still. I personally would like to own my stuff, but that's another thing I want to talk about more, probably in the next episode, or the episode after that, sometime later on in the future. My opinion, the more people are like, why do you say this? Why are you talking about this? Blah, blah, blah. I'll go more into it in my full opinion as we go on. Keep me reminded, because I know you will. But look at this week. Look what just released today. It released today, as I'm recording this. If you are listening to this, it has been out for a day or two. But as I'm recording, Ghost of Yote is out today. Is out now. I'm really hoping and wondering if this is the single player type game that PlayStation needs after all this talk and all this stuff about them doing nothing but live service games and all that stuff. But to be fair, Astrobot also came out last year, and I'd rather take an Astrobot personally. But if Ghost of Yote is good, no complaints from me. I'm just wondering if it is actually better than the original. I'm hearing that it is. And it took me a while to finally give the original a chance. But man, I'm glad I did. I can't wait to play that game that I'm looking forward to. And then there's other games coming out later. I'm very intrigued about the new NASCAR game. I know it's NASCAR making a bunch of left turns and all that stuff. But NASCAR 25 has got the iRacing team behind it. Basically, it's a homecoming. The people that made some of the best and most realistic NASCAR games 20 years ago are back behind the wheel of NASCAR games again. I'm very intrigued as to how their baseline game is going to be, because this is the skeleton. This is what they're going to put everything that makes a great game onto from here on out. I'm telling you, I'm hoping that this game is the solid base that in maybe 3 years, 4 years time, we have a contender for best NASCAR game of all time. And from the videos, it looks interesting. So I'm really hoping that's the case. Pokemon Legends, ZA, I mean, Nintendo be Nintendo, but man, they do have some great games coming out. Metroid Prime 4, that's coming out supposedly later this year. I'll believe it when I see it. I think today or this week as well, they just released, controversial as it is because of the price, they just re-released Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. Yeah, games are almost 15, 20 years old and $70 if you want them both. $40 a pop if you want them separate for some reason. But they just re-released that. Great games, older, priced too much, but hey, there's an option. There's more fun games to play. Then Battlefield 6, man. I know Call of Duty Black Ops 7 comes out too, but who cares? Battlefield 6 is going to take that reign. I hope it's still good. I hope that they've listened to what people were saying and some of the complaints from the betas. They've listened, they've tweaked some of the game because it was already really good. So I look forward to the actual full release of Battlefield 6 and see if EA actually did well or how they messed this thing up. Because either way, it's interesting. It was looking really good, so I'm really hoping for good things. And there's hope. That's what's so great about video games, that there's hope that they're going to be great. That video games can be good, even if the games are just mid. See, we need to bring back games that are just mid, you know? Yeah, you want games that are amazing, great experiences, blah, 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 blah. Give me a game that I can waste 8 hours of my life and think, oh, I didn't waste my time. I didn't feel like I wasted my time. I had fun with it. Wasn't the best thing in the world. I'm more okay with those type of games. If you want to make them $30-$40, at least I'm somewhat satisfied. I'm not satisfied with games I have to spend extra money on. At least with the free ones, they're free originally. Like, I don't really have to spend a dime on Fortnite. Which is why while I don't like that system, I don't really complain about it that much. Just because, I don't have to buy it. Fun game to play, regardless. Video game's fun. I want fun games. I want good games. Can't wait for next week to where my opinion completely changes and everything is different. Can't wait to get called out, you know? Because every opinion that you have to have someone call you out. Well, this was fun. I think overall this was a good first episode with me just talking by myself. I've been looking everywhere and anywhere I can to try to keep focused on what I'm talking about so I don't say something that's stupid or, contradictory. Probably has happened, though. Now, the part that I don't like is have to listen to myself later on to edit this. Ugh. I'm gonna have to listen to this crap again? I'm only half kidding. Thank you so much for listening to the first episode of OMO. I'm on my own here. Join me and let's talk about some more video game stuff, whether it's news, games coming out, games you like, games you dislike, games you just want to fawn over, Join me in this and I guarantee, once I get the cobwebs out of the way, this could be something you'll want to share to everybody and have a conversation about something that's we should all just be cool on. It's just playing a video game, putting a controller or keyboard and mouse in your hand and just having a blast. Just doing things to relax and take your mind off the world as much as you can, how the world is really at right now. So thank you all so much for listening. I'm Keith. See you next week. And yes, next week. I'll see you then. Love your faces.